Hello horror lovers, welcome back to our channel. This time I will bring you into a gripping story from Scotland full of mystery, curses, and unexpected terror. Behind the beauty of Ravenswood Castle, there is a dark history that will make your hair stand on end. Prepare yourself to dive into the story of Fiona MacLeod and Alistair, who must face dark forces and secret sects that are trying to destroy them. Will they succeed in uncovering the dark secret and saving this castle? Don't miss the horror story that will make your night full of tension. Enjoy watching. Fiona Campbell, the young archaeologist, drives her car along a rocky road to Ravenswood Castle. Situated on the edge of a steep cliff, this ancient castle is surrounded by thick fog, gives it a mysterious feel. As Fiona descends from her car window, the cold mountain air greets her with a piercing chill. She is greeted by Hamish McGregor, the castle caretaker who has worked here for decades. Hamish, an elderly man with a white beard and a shabby coat, looked anxious as he approached Fiona. "Welcome to Ravenswood Castle," Hamish said in a hoarse voice. "I hope you are prepared for what lies ahead. This castle has an unpleasant history." Fiona nodded, trying to reassure Hamish. "Thank you, Mr. Hamish. I am aware of its history. I am here to investigate further." Hamish frowned, said no more. Fiona stepped inside the castle, feeling the cold and heavy atmosphere. The dull, mossy stone walls and broken windows created an eerie atmosphere. Fiona began her first exploration of the forgotten castle. Dust coated every surface, and antique lamps flickered in the dark room. She found a large wooden cabinet in one corner of the main room. The cabinet door creaked as it opened, revealing several ancient artifacts and old books that looked like they had not been touched in years. When Fiona touched a journal lying among the objects, pages creaked. The handwriting inside was that of Eleanor Ravenswood, one of the family members who had once inhabited the castle. Fiona read it carefully. "Today, Father performed a new ritual. We must all participate, even though we know it is wrong. Maybe this is the only way to save our family, but I'm not sure." Suddenly, Fiona heard heavy footsteps and soft whispers behind her. She turned around, but saw nothing. Only silence enveloped the room. Fiona shivered and decided to continue reading, even though the tension was weighing on her. Fiona's first night in the castle did not go smoothly. The temperature in her room dropped suddenly, making Fiona shiver under her blanket. Strange sounds, like whispers and invisible footsteps, disturbed her peace. When Fiona lifted her head from the pillow, she saw the figure of a woman in a white dress standing at the end of her room. The figure did not move, and only stared at Fiona with blank eyes. Fiona pulled her blankets tighter, hoping the figure would disappear, but the discomfort remained. Finally, Fiona dared to peek again, and the figure was gone. She tried to sleep, but the terror of the night haunted her all night. The next morning, Fiona decided to find out more about the castle. She visited Father McKenna, an old priest who lived in a nearby village and was known for his knowledge of local history. "Father McKenna," Fiona began, "I found some artifacts and books in the castle. I also had some strange experiences tonight. What can you tell me about this castle?" Father McKenna looked at Fiona with concern. The castle had a very dark history. The Ravenswood family engaged in dark rituals to fight a curse they could not overcome. The rituals only made things worse. "What should I do to solve this problem?" Fiona asked hopefully. "You must find and destroy the artifacts used in the ritual. Only then can the curse be lifted and the trapped spirits find peace." Fiona nodded, ready to begin her search with Father McKenna's guidance. Fiona continued her search in the dark castle. She delved into the dank dungeons and found various artifacts, from strange statues to ancient books filled with mystical symbols. Each discovery became more and more suspenseful. In a hidden room, Fiona found an ancient mirror covered in black cloth. When she opened it, evil energy seemed to overflow from the mirror. Fiona felt nauseous when she saw her reflection, which looked different from usual. She gathered her courage and added the mirror to the list of artifacts to be destroyed. Fiona felt increasingly depressed but did not back down from her mission. That night, Fiona decided to try to summon Eleanor's spirit using candles and spells from the diary. She set up a small altar in a quiet room and carefully lit the candle. When the candle was lit, Eleanor's spirit appeared in a transparent form, looking at Fiona with a hopeful gaze. You have successfully summoned me, Eleanor's spirit said softly. I want to help, but I cannot be completely free until this curse is broken. What should I do? Fiona asked, feeling more and more compelled to complete this mission. Feel the changes around you. If you succeed in destroying the artifacts, our spirits will be at peace. You must act quickly. Fiona felt inspired by the conversation and resolved to continue her search with renewed vigor. Fiona continued to explore the castle, searching for the last remaining artifacts. Each discovery added to the eerie feeling that surrounded her. She found artifacts such as statues with eyes that seemed to come to life, and ancient books covered in mystical symbols. As Fiona destroyed each artifact, she felt a change in the castle. The previously tense atmosphere began to feel calmer. She felt something moving in the room, as if the trapped spirits were beginning to find peace. As Fiona faced the last artifact, Alexander's evil spirit appeared and attacked her in anger. Fiona felt oppressed by the evil power surrounding her. You will not succeed, said Alexander's spirit in a voice full of hatred. We are bound by this curse, and we will not let you break it. Fiona was undeterred. This curse must end. I will not back down. With strong determination, Fiona fought Alexander's spirit. The fight was fierce, but she finally managed to destroy the last artifact. Alexander's spirit disappeared with a final scream, and peace finally returned to the castle. After destroying the artifacts, Fiona felt a great change in the castle. The atmosphere became calmer and more peaceful. Fiona felt a burden lifted from her shoulders and felt satisfied that her mission had succeeded. The next day, Fiona visited Father McKenna to report her success. The castle now felt calmer. I feel like the curse has been lifted. Father McKenna smiled. You have done an amazing job. The castle will be peaceful forever thanks to your effort. Fiona felt relieved and moved by the struggle she had gone through. After a few days passed, Fiona began to feel more at ease in the castle. However, her curiosity about the full story of the curse and the history of the castle still haunted her. She decided to go back to investigate Eleanor's diary further. One night, while Fiona was reading in the castle library, she found pages that had previously been hidden in the diary. The pages told of a final ritual performed by Alexander Ravenswood to strengthen the curse for power and wealth. The ritual involved the blood sacrifice of his own descendants. Alexander was not just seeking protection from the curse, Fiona told herself. He was sacrificing his family for his own purposes. Suddenly, Fiona heard footsteps outside the library. She quickly hid behind a bookshelf, trying to see who it was. A figure of a man appeared, but he did not look like a spirit. The man, who appeared to be wearing modern clothing, seemed to be searching for something in a hurry. Who was he? Fiona wondered. Fiona dared to follow the mysterious man. She tracked him down to the castle's basement. There, the man opened a hidden door that Fiona had never seen before. For whatever reason, who are you? Fiona asked as she approached the man. The man was surprised, but then responded calmly. My name is Alistair Ravenswood. I am the last descendant of the Ravenswood family. I have come to stop this curse. Fiona was stunned. You are a direct descendant of Alexander Ravenswood? Yes, Alistair said in a serious tone. I have been searching for a way to remove this curse for years. I know where this castle is, but I cannot enter it until I find Eleanor's diary. I thank you for helping us find and destroy the artifact. However, there is one final ritual we must perform, Alistair continued. This ritual requires the blood of a Ravenswood descendant and the pure intention to erase all evil that has ever happened. Fiona and Alistair began preparing for the final ritual. They set up an altar in the crypt and gathered all the remaining artifacts. Alistair explained the steps of the ritual carefully, making sure that they made no mistakes. We must do it exactly at midnight, Alistair said. The power of the night will help us in carrying out this ritual. They waited anxiously, knowing that this was their only chance to end the curse once and for all. As the clock struck midnight, they began to recite ancient spells from Eleanor's diary. The atmosphere in the crypt turned tense as Fiona and Alistair began the ritual. The air felt heavy, and a rumbling sound could be heard in the distance. Alistair cut his knife into his hand, dripping his blood onto the altar. With this blood, I atone for the sins of my family, Alistair said in a trembling voice. I remove the curse that has haunted us for centuries. Fiona felt a tremor course through her body as powerful energy began to swirl around them. Artifacts began to tremble and shatter one by one. Screams could be heard from within the castle walls, as if trapped spirits were finally free. When the last artifact shattered, the voices died away and silence returned to the castle. Fiona and Alistair fell to the floor, exhausted but relieved. The next morning, Fiona and Alistair awoke with a sense of overwhelming relief. They felt a calm and peaceful presence throughout the castle. Fiona smiled at Alistair, proud to have helped end the curse that had haunted the Ravenswood family for so long. "Thank you, Fiona," Alistair said sincerely. "You have saved my family and given us the peace we have longed for." Fiona smiled. "I am glad I could help. Now this castle can be a place of peace and history that can truly be appreciated." The two decide to open the castle to the public, so that others can learn from its history and the power of redemption. Ravenswood Castle, once filled with darkness and curses, now stands as a symbol of hope and redemption. Over the next few months, Fiona thinks life at the castle has returned to normal. However, one night while she is in the library, she finds a book she has never seen before. The book contains records of a secret cult led by Alexander Ravenswood. "This can't be," Fiona muses. Are there more secrets left untold? She decides to meet Alistair, who now lives in a nearby town, to discuss her discovery. "Alistair, I found this book in the castle library," Fiona says when she meets him. "Something about a secret cult led by Alexander." Alistair looks at the book with a frown. "Secret cult? I've never heard of this before. We need to investigate further." Fiona and Alistair begin to investigate the secret cult. They discover that the cult is still active and operating in secret in the villages surrounding the castle. "We need to be careful," Alistair says. "They can be very dangerous if they feel threatened." They decide to infiltrate one of the cult's meetings to find out more. On a cold, windy night, Fiona and Alistair hide behind trees near the secret meeting place. At the meeting place, Fiona and Alistair see a group of people dressed in black robes surrounding a campfire. The leader of the cult begins to chant an incantation that Fiona and Alistair cannot understand. "We need to get closer to here," Alistair whispered. They crept closer and heard the cult leader talking about the rise of a dark force that would take over the castle and the surrounding area. "We have to stop them," Fiona said firmly. Fiona and Alistair returned to the castle and made a plan to fight the secret cult. They decided to gather evidence and report the cult's activities to the authorities. "We need more evidence before we can report them," Alistair said. "We need to go back to their meeting and get concrete evidence." The next night, they returned to the meeting place and managed to record the cult leader's conversation using a voice recorder. They overheard the cult's plans to perform a major ritual that would strengthen their dark powers. The secret cult learned that Fiona and Alistair had infiltrated their meeting. They decided to attack the castle and stop Fiona and Alistair before they could report their activities. On a dark and stormy night, the secret cult stormed the castle. Fiona and Alistair fought desperately to fight off the attack. "We must survive, Fiona," Alistair shouted as he fought the cult members with a wooden stick. Fiona ran to the library to find a spellbook that could help them. She found a book containing a protection spell and began to recite it with a trembling voice. The protection spell that Fiona recited created a magical barrier around the castle, protecting them from the cult's attack. However, the cult leader managed to break through the barrier and confront Fiona and Alistair in the castle's main hall. "This is the end for you," the cult leader said in a voice full of hatred. "No, this is the end for your evil," Fiona replied firmly. A fierce battle took place in the castle hall. Fiona and Alistair fought with all their might to defeat the cult leader. Finally, with their strength and courage, they managed to defeat the cult leader and stop his evil plans. After defeating the secret cult, Fiona and Alistair reported all the incidents to the authorities. The secret cult was disbanded and its members were arrested. Ravenswood Castle was finally free from the dark forces that had once haunted it. "We did it, Fiona," Alistair said with a relieved smile. "We have erased all the evil that once existed in this castle." "Yes, now this castle can be a peaceful and historical place," Fiona replied with a happy smile. They decided to open the castle to the public. inviting people to learn about their history and the stories of courage they experience. Fiona wrote a book about her adventures, sharing stories of fighting against darkness and triumphing over evil. Ravenswood Castle, once filled with darkness and curses, now stands as a symbol of hope and redemption. Fiona and Alistair continue their lives quietly, guarding the castle and making sure that the dark stories of the past will never be repeated again. "This is a new beginning," Fiona said as she looked towards the castle. "A beginning filled with hope and peace." And with that, Fiona and Alistair's story in Ravenswood Castle ended, leaving an unforgettable legacy for future generations. Thank you for watching this horror story. How do you feel after hearing the terrifying story of Ravenswood Castle? Don't forget to leave a comment below about which part gave you the most goosebumps. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss other interesting horror stories. See you in the next story, and always remember, sometimes dark secrets are in unexpected places. Good night and stay alert.